Previously on Vice Grip Garage, we got this cute little Studebaker fired up after sitting for 47 years.
It sounds good. It really does.
We actually tootled it around the yard a little bit. Runs pretty good. And when I asked you guys what's next for the little car, overwhelmingly, all of you said, well, let's clean this thing up and see what we can do with it. So that's exactly what we're gonna do. First wash in 47 years. I'm gonna polish the paint on this thing, get it as shiny as I possibly can, clean all the glass, do something with the wheels, and put new rubber on it. And when we're done, this car is gonna look completely different. Big thank you to AG1 for sponsoring today's video. Let's face it, maintaining your health, especially through the holiday madness, is complex. But AG1 has your back by helping you manage stress, supporting your digestive health and your immune system. AG1 is a foundational supplement that's easy to commit to day in and day out, and is packed with 75 essential vitamins, minerals, and whole food sourced items. Since 2010, AG1 has made 52 revisions in pursuit of bringing the best quality product to the customers, and that's why I personally trust AG1. There's a long list of benefits from using AG1, from immune defense, gut health, focus and energy, stress and mood balance, all the way to healthy aging. And being NSF certified, you can rest assured that what's on the label is actually in the powder. Using AG1 couldn't be easier. I like to use my transmission funnel for just a little bit of spice. 1 scoop, 8 to 12 ounces of water, shake it up, and enjoy. Yep, ain't got no cap. Yep. Save $20 when you subscribe at drinkag1.com/vicegrip. And AG1 is also going to give all y'all 1 free year supply of AG vitamin D3 and K2 and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. Thanks to AG1 for sponsoring this video. Now let's dig into this old Studebaker, see if we can make it shine. So I think where a guy's going to go on ahead and start is use the pressure washer machine over there to blow a bunch of chemical on this thing. I don't know. We'll probably have a little bit of vinegar, some Coca-Cola, something extremely corrosive with a splash of Tito's. In case it gets up in your face, you could just, you know, not worry about wiping it off. You know what I'm saying? Okay. And then we'll blow all of that off with pressure, probably soap it again, hand wash it, and then clean that off. The color is a little bit deceiving. It doesn't look that bad, but when you get up close, this car is absolutely filthy. But even through that, we still have a little bit of sheen. I am probably the most excited to see this car polished than any other vehicle I've done in many years. I really think we've got something really good to work with here. I can't wait to see it finished. So again, from afar, it doesn't look that bad, but if you get up close and really hook your peepers in, this thing is extremely filthy. I did a little lick test, and she's cleaning up, but we might have to SOS a lot of this off. Again, we found this in like a barn or a garage edition thing. It's sat for decades. But I'm hopeful. Look at that sheen under that dirt and dust. We might really be able to bring this thing around. I'm going to remain hopeful. Dirty, dirty, dirty. Some of this, unfortunately, it's cracked. We're going to have some different colors here and there. You can see the original paint underneath this. It's not going to be perfect, but I really think we can bring the shine to this thing. Here's the roof. All right, let's fire up the machine and get some soap on this. We'll pressure wash that off and see what we have to start with. I've just barely started and this thing has an incredible sheen on it, and I just wanted to show you
just from a quick, wow. This thing is gonna look amazing when we're done. I'm gonna keep on washing. Get this thing all dolled up. I think I'm still gonna go ahead and hand wash it because we don't want to clog up all of our buffing pads if there's any dirt left over. What a difference just a wash made on this car. Now let's get this back into the shop here and we're gonna take a close look at it and see how aggressive we can get with chemicals, choose our products based on what we're seeing in the paint, and then start polishing this thing out. It's probably going to take me all night, but with the car wet, I think you'll agree, if it looks anything even remotely close to this, the time is gonna be worth the results. Yes. Studebaker's in the shop. I got it toweled off. Looks like it's dry enough to go ahead and get after it here. We're gonna have quite a few challenges. Paint's really thin on this door. We're gonna have to keep that in mind. The paint isn't as thick as it looks, or you would think it would be. And I don't want to burn through this and create a bunch of different colors to come through. Like for example here, if we get too crazy, that's really gonna bring that out. Some random spots on the hood. This fender's in pretty tough shape. Got some primer there. We'll have to be a little bit careful of. This door is, the top of it's in really good shape, but the bottom of it again, we got some different stuff there. Got some more primer coming through here. Deck lid is very porous. And this is going to be the thinnest paint. See all this primer, we get closer. There's a lot of that primer coming through. This is from the pressure washer. I had to back out of it. It was blowing the paint right off of the thing. So I'm gonna have to be very careful there. Hopefully I can kind of smooth some of that out so it's not so obvious there. I think I'm gonna do a couple tests up top. This also is fairly porous. But we're not going to use any compounds or cutting compounds. I think we might just use some sort of a finish. Let me dig through my box of stuff, see what we have, see what kind of pads I've got, and then we'll start digging in on this. Well, dug through my box, found some product left over from that GTO we did a while back, and we got a microfiber, this thing, and fast correcting cream. And it says for removal of severe paint defects, but this is moderate defects. So I think with these powers combined, we can do a little test area. And then if this is a little too aggressive or we're taking off a lot of green color on the pad, I've got just a correcting cream that's just for moderate defects, light to moderate defects. So let me load this up on the machine. I think we'll use the sail panel back here and do a little test area. See what we get. What was I stepping on? Is this a dinosaur toe? Fishing weight. All right. There is a lot of work to do. I'm actually not going to worry about any of the splattering or getting some of the black weather stripping. After I'm done doing this, we'll just wash it again, get up all the extra residue and stuff. see what we got. Oh, yeah. Oh, wow. Okay, was not expecting this. I don't know what I was expecting, but it was not this. Check this out. That is wild. That paint came right back to life. Pretty incredible. So I think we've got, it's just silky smooth. We've got the right combination. Got lucky there. Okay, so guy's gonna start at the roof, do the big top parts first, and then we'll work our way through all the crevasses and side panels and everything like that. It's gonna be a late night, but it's gonna be very worth it. We'll see when I get this done. Then we're gonna address the wheels, tires, glass, probably even the chrome, spiff that up as well. This thing's gonna look like $1,000,000. I need a tray or something for all this stuff. Well, I don't know if you saw the lights flickering or can hear all this, but we're under a severe thunderstorm right now, and the weather radio keeps saying tornadoes. So I'm gonna grab the little humans I'm responsible for and my wife. We're gonna hunker down, make sure these guys are safe. We're gonna have to put this up for the night. Also, I unfortunately had to make the decision. I'm gonna have to roll this thing outside. I gotta put my grandpa's truck in here. It's worth significantly more, but ironically has thinner sheet metal. The old Studebaker's gonna fare better out there if it does unfortunately hail. So we're gonna quick roll this out, get my grandpa's truck in here, call it a night. We'll see you guys tomorrow. We'll get this thing finished up. Well, good morning. Day 2 on the Studebaker. Truth be told, kind of a somber morning, actually. We're safe from the storms. It went northwest of us. But unfortunately, several people actually lost their lives last night. Many others lost everything. And there's over 13,000 people without power right now. So keep those guys in your thoughts and prayers, as we do as well. I've reached out to a few nonprofit groups working in the area and asked if Vice Grip Garage can help somehow. For example, I offered to bring out, cots or generators or whatever we can do, waiting to hear back on that. So let's get back on the Studebaker here. I'm gonna walk you around, show you what we got done late last night before we had to push this out. Thankfully, no hail damage or anything like that. We just had really high winds and sheets of rain. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that, actually, living here anyway. But I think we can get this paint knocked out today, hopefully. It's kind of a slow process, but I want to try to not miss anything and get it done right. Hood's looking great. Got in a little bit of a hurry up front here. We'll open the hood and get the bottom lip and stuff like that. But you can see where my pad was just incidentally hitting the fender before and after, basically. A-pillars turned out beautifully. The roof looks great. Lots of shine there. Trunk's pretty good. Fortunately, this is from the pressure washer before I realized it. This is gonna fade out eventually. Not a lot I can do there. I hate to take off more paint, essentially. And a lot of the same. Hey, Caprice. I think I can get in here more. We'll go ahead and just start on this side. I guess it don't matter, but we'll jump in at the front fender here. Start polishing, same product, same process, and move our way back. I just realized I don't even have a stool, like one of the little ones you roll around on or sit on. This is my going to camping chair from the camper. It's got armrests and whatever. It'll work. So, I'm gonna slide this around. Let's see if that, perfect angle. Now, it's going to be tough to get stuff like this in here with this machine. Might have to come back and do a lot of this by hand, but just going to try to get the bulk of the real estate here with the machine. Also, speaking of machine, went ahead and switched to a new microfiber. The other one was pretty much shot. I washed it last night quick in a hurry and dried it up early this morning, but it's pretty well shot. So, going to switch to a new one. Hopefully this will last for both sides. Polishing in the large areas is complete and it looks fantastic. There's a couple areas, of course, that were a little more difficult or I had to kind of stay away from. Some previous body work in the rocker panels, for example. But what a difference. Actually has a mirror shine to it now. Almost all around the rig, other than like the boot here. But it looks really good. For it must have been painted early 70s. You got to think about that based on when this was parked. And then it was garaged, thankfully, all those years. And that's what really saved the paint on this thing. Looks great. Now I got to get in here and spot polish. I got to get around the grill here. I've got to get under the emblems. I got to be really careful around this dainty little script. I don't want to break that in any way. All the small areas could probably get machined in here. The rest of it's probably going to have to be by hand. Unfortunately, it's going to take a lot of time. This light just shook out on me, and when it fell, it broke. Turns out, look at this thick glass. Back when they used to make things with quality. I got another one on my other Studebaker, but I think it's in better shape than this car in general, so I don't really want to rob it off of that. I'll see if I could find one though on Evil Bay or something like that. Replace that. I want to finish the paint wholly first before I move on to any of the chrome, tires, wheels, stuff like that. But what a difference. And the nice thing is it's 1/5 of a bottle of compound and 2 pads. You guys can do this at home. Let's see if we can spiff this up. The pad is fairly loaded. It's actually pretty shot. There's a lot of material in here though. I'm gonna leave that because this script I'm gonna go over extremely slow and it should actually scrape a lot of that off. Just like that. I'm going to hold it. There we go. Careful. You could still find this stuff, but I guess that's not the point. It ain't broke. No reason to fix it, you know what I mean? Just trying to be as careful as I can. Add a little bit more material. Basically the same on both sides here. Just nice and easy. Nice and easy. Well, let's see how this turned out. There we go. Well, that's pretty good. If the guy went real wild, you can get a, an ear cleaner outer and get in here and kind of doll this up, but I don't know if we need to go that crazy. I, for one, really enjoy this Studebaker font on their decals. This cursive or script, it's like elegant, but has just a fade of manliness as well. I don't know what it's called, but it's really, really cool. You got to kind of study it or squint to even figure out what it says. It's a lot like my handwriting, to be honest. It's good to have sloppy handwriting, especially when writing bad checks. No one really knows what's going on. You know what I mean? There we go. I think that's going to do us just fine. Well, I got to do the bottom side down by the grill here. See if I can get that to match, because this seals right up against that. We don't want a big contrast, shiny to dull. Also, Studebaker should have put those hinges on. You know what I mean? Okay, good. Glad we're on the same page. Caprice must smell mice. She's pretty much been in this engine compartment all night. But that's a good thing. Working on the front here. I'm on my third layer actually, or third coat, third application. This is the trice time I've done it. And I'm also hitting this. It's pretty shot, but I'm going to try to bring this up so it's not so dull. And we'll probably do the chrome with quad zero and some Windex or something like that. And then working around the lights this way on the inside, on both sides. And then trying to decide if I should flat black that with some paint or something like that. What do you smell? She's just been doing laps. Her infection's doing much better, isn't it? Throwing the old battery charger on. Every good project starts with the battery boiling. This one went dead, and I was kind of surprised. Most 6-volt cars don't have anything that's going to drain, but this one did, and that's a brand new battery. So we'll get this boiling while we work on the back side of the car. This front part turned out really nice, and I think that's going to match the hood just fine. It's turning out real nice. Decided not to paint this. Here's why. It's a slope that's slippery. We paint this, then I'm going to have to paint the rat. Once that's done, well, the air cleaner doesn't match. That's got to be painted. Then the heater motor box. Then the horn. Then why don't we just fog down the inside fenders? Then it's going to be a Craigslist rebuild, and it's just going to get out of control. And I'm telling you right now, we just ain't got the time for that stuff. We got to focus on the exterior right now. Maybe we'll get there one day, but I'm just trying to make this look like a going to town rig right now. Guys, got to try to sneak the machine in here, but I ain't going to get much. I'm going to have to do most of that by hand, and then you can see where I kind of started fading off here because I didn't want to bend over. I'm lazy. So now that we got it up in my teeth, whoa, stay up now. I need you. There we go. We'll go ahead and work the rest of this in. Got to be careful not to rip my pad off in this, which I definitely will, and then I'll change it to the old one that's clogged, and then I'll finish from here over. And then trying to make it perfect, I'll rip it off again over here, and then we'll just finish it by hand. Great. Guy's been staring at this fender protector. At first it didn't bother a guy, but now that she's all sheened up, we're getting down to details. That is bothering me. The other side doesn't look that bad. It's still a ridge, see? So we're gonna find another one of these. And by finding another one, I mean we're definitely going to just, DE 1634 probably, Let's see if we could at least get this black look back in it. And they also have some overspray on this one. We could fix that too. Replacing with new thing on the fender, new with receipts, but I lost them. Oh yeah, looking good. So here's what we're gonna do while the new shield thing is adhering. It's not spray painted. Come on now. We're gonna go ahead and clean the glass up and get some of this residue, watch the paint now, stuff like that off. I will eventually hand wash this car again, but I just want to clean these up first. They're still very dirty, even after that wash, especially right around the weather seals and stuff like that. It's too bad the glass on this car is really, really good, with the exception of this piece right here. I could see a BB gun, unfortunately. Probably went through the window of the garage it was stored in. I'd have to go back and look. I got some photographs, maybe we could figure that out. But this just looks like typical weather stuff. Hot, cold, hot, cold. I've seen that a lot. I really doubt that back window was going up and down a lot, even in the car's prime. That's the only bad piece of glass on this rig. This one has a little bit of weather checking where the sides are separating a little bit, but nothing terrible. There we go. Nice piece of glass. All the windows roll up and down. Nice and easy in this as well. It's getting really late, but I think I'm gonna go ahead and start on the tires and wheels, and don't worry, I know some of you have been shaking in your boots, you hardcore Studebaker fans out there. We're not putting Moonies or Kragers or anything like that on the Studebaker. I think Stud did a really good job with these steel wheels. They kind of have a, in my opinion, almost like a spoked or a wagon wheel design if you kind of look. It's pretty subtle. And they've just got a very simple poverty cap on it, and it looks sharp in my opinion. So I'm gonna do nothing but clean them up. And we're gonna put new rubber on it, of course. So let's go ahead and jack this thing up, get them dangling, get some jack stands under here, bust them off, get to it. I'm gonna have to figure out what to do with the poverty caps though. Them are not gonna polish out. I've already tried, and they are long gone. The plating is left the chat. We'll figure it out though. Truth went on ahead and be told. You know the car that really needs cleaned up, that's been super patient? Easy T. We've been driving it, we've been using it as a daily. Jessica loves the thing. She fell in love with the Mountain Dew car, so I had to get her something. And she really likes driving that car, but it's filthy, it needs buffed out, it needs work. So you guys want to see that? Beep, bop, boop, bop, beep. Bleep, bloop it. We can maybe make that happen. That one's going to be more difficult. It's got really thin paint, thinner than this car actually, but we still got to make it shine somehow. Oh, mercy sakes. Keep going. Probably just the oil pan. I'm 1,000 miles from nowhere. Beep, 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 beep. Time to matter to me. Nailed it. Easy, but faster, but easier, but slower. Sure, sounded good. How come everything I own has an ant infestation in it? I don't understand. I know how to fix them. Medium well. Maybe that's well done. Gotta go. Can't have these all over the shop. Boy, it smells like burning protein, burning hair. It's exactly like branding cattle, if you've ever smelled that. Okay, sorry about that. Excuse me. Excuse me. trying to work on a Studebaker. Come on now. Yeah. All right. Woo! That's a smelly one. 13 years later, found the right socket for the wheels. Anywho, see what I'm seeing here? You swing this into Walgreens, get some new tennis balls for your walker, ain't no one gonna know that ain't rubber from about 57 feet. Yep, yep. Oh. Right hand thread on this unit. Almost forgot. Yeah, early engineers thought, because of the way the wheel was rotating, why wouldn't the lug nuts just come undone because of inertia and gravity from the moon? And things like that. So they reversed the opposite of the current. Yep, this one's already been spray bombed before. I could tell because of the valve stem that's rotten and leaking. And looks like we got it under the wheel a little bit, but boy, these are skinny. What were these? I don't even see it. Small. That's what they are. 32 PSI doesn't say it, but look at that. It's like a bicycle tire these days. Why do them gotta be 295s? Imagine pedaling those around. I wonder if a guy should at least check the bearings out in here whilst we're here. I don't know. Pin that up for now. Gonna snag the cores out here. We'll bust these down. We'll put new valve stems in them. Whew, that is some smelly air. Look at this old valve that came out of here. I haven't seen that style in a long time. And then this would be the newer style. Very common. Interesting. Bust these bad boys off. Hip. Rust. Hopefully the wheels aren't all rotten. Then we might have issues getting a good seal on the new tires. Wow, that's not a good sign. Good deed. Oh, the air is terrible on these. The smell. Oof, ishy. Boy, these have been on a long time. They're tubed. We're tubed. Now they're a jungle gym. The old tube. No wonder they held air all those years. Okay. What's going on with my pedal? Man, you can't lift that with your foot. Well, anyway. They don't look that bad. Surprisingly. We can clean them up with the wire wheel, though. Rebuilding wheel. Rebuilding. You want to breathe all this dust in as much as possible. Yeah, there it is. Oh yeah. I'm doing this to make sure that I get a really good seal on the new tire, because we're going tubeless with the updated radial instead of a bias ply. but don't worry about it. Oh, wow. It's there. What is that? Where'd that come from? Oh, more ant nest. Oh. Sure. Yep. So after running the cheek poker on it, it's a decent wheel except where the valve stem hole is, or tube hole in this case. We've got some heavy moisture looking rot stuff. So I'm gonna focus on that specific area. The rest of the wheel cleaned up pretty good. I think once we lay 47 heavy coats of it'll look pretty good. Some of this is a little bit rough, but you know, it's an old original wheel. I'm not going to take the time to sit here with sandpaper and hand sand all this, or run them in the town and spend the, I don't know what it would cost to get these sandblasted professionally, probably $100 a wheel. We don't need to do that. We're just doing, you know, can a guy walk out the back of the tavern, look at the Stude and go, that's my rig? You know what I mean? From like 70 feet at dusk. And I think we can do that with some rattle cans. Pretty good on this one. I do need to go get some rust converter, because now I've got all this stuff plowed out of here, but I gotta try to slow this rust down, and then we'll prime the inside of the wheel. Even though we're not gonna see it, I don't wanna know that this is rotting from the inside out. So that one's pretty good. So we're gonna move on to this one here. And we got to start thinking about color. This is fairly close. Some of you might be thinking, boy, that's a bright color for a wheel, but it's what Stu did actually. And might have to go shop and try to figure, oh, this one's, oh, it's screwing out the whole body. Huh. Okay. Yeah. Well, that one ain't got no air. All right. Anyway, we're gonna have to figure out color and what we're gonna be doing there as well. Hopefully this one isn't as rusty. Oh yeah, same story. Maybe even worse. I can already see inside a little bit. This one is really bad shape, unfortunately. Oh. Woo! She's rotted. Oh man, that is nasty. It's like slough water kind of smell. Get that out of here. Oh yeah, this side. Must be the bottom of the wheel where it was parked. Look at that. Ugh. Well, let's see if we can clean it up. Know what I mean? Yeah, you do. Okay, good. Here we go. Oh, wow. This one's very pitted. It's gonna be a tough one to seal. We might have to use grease or RTV on this one. Well, This has turned into quite the project. I don't have any of the stuff I was talking about earlier, so I'm gonna have to run to the hardware store bright and early. Well, we went ahead and burned up another one. The day is gone, it's late, everything's closed. I'm gonna go ahead and call it a night. Tomorrow morning early, I'll scoot into town with one of the go-in-the-town rigs, pick up some supplies, come back, and then we'll finish up these wheels, get some new rubber on, get it all put back together, and take a look at the Studebaker's new look after 47 years. See you in the morning. Well, good morning. Back from the hardware store. Found my fish finder, was laying back here the whole time. 27 degrees this morning. It's pretty cold in here, and I spilled my coffee in my lap. Everything's fine. I also said I wasn't going to sand these. Here I am. Daytona yellow. It's actually a duplicolor engine paint. It's probably what we're going to end up going with. I got 2. I had them order some more. And then I did get some rust fix. And we're going to spray that in here. I'll show you how that works quick. I got this Jazz here. You've seen me use this before. Goes on clear, but then it'll start turning the rust black if it is rust. And you can paint over this if you want. But this will slow down this rust in here. Hopefully make this wheel last a little bit longer. Oh, I ain't got air hooked up. There we go. Lots of heavy rust in there. Let that convert. Got 3 cleaned up and rust treated. You can see it's turning black now instead of that, well, rust color. We're used to that around here. Remind me to get more furnace filters. This dust clogged them up. Okay, this wheel. Oh, wow. I think we'll just have to pretend that we didn't see that. But it's pretty bad. It is pretty bad. I'm gonna work on it. I'm gonna see how thin this metal really is underneath here. Once I get all the scaling off, we'll have to make a decision. Well, here's what we got. I think it's right on the ragged edge. Hopefully this valve stem will even seat. It's got a lip in there. Has me a little bit nervous. I'm gonna be honest. I might actually pound that in just a little bit with a hammer. But we're gonna try to use it. Gonna treat this one, let them dry, and then we'll get to painting here in a little bit. Rebuilding. So now that rust treatment has dried on here, converted this rust, I'm also going to spray in this Rust Stop. I don't know, it's just something to help cover the bare metal in here. And then we'll let this dry, and then we can finally work on the outside of the wheel. Well, that is a terrible looking color. At least you know where you're spraying it. Well, over here, working on the back sides of the wheels while this still dries. It's tacky. This is Daytona yellow. The cap doesn't do justice how bright that is. That's not going to work, so this is going to go up on the shelf. I found this Caterpillar yellow, which does have, it looks more tannish beige in person, and I think maybe that yellow is messing it up. But that's a lot closer. There's how the wheel was painted. This is what I got. I think that's going to be closer to the color we're looking for, is this tractor and implement stuff. So I'm going to just quick fog the backs. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just trying to get some color in here, not even necessarily down in here. So if the wheels are turned or you're looking under the car, we have something on the inside of the wheel instead of that bare color. I'm just sitting here wondering what Chris Stapleton's doing, you know, and you're probably wondering what I'm doing with the overspray here. And what I'm trying to do is just get it over everything I can, you know. That's what you do with it. That's why it's called overspray. You don't want to waste any of it. There we go. Boy, this doesn't stick very good. I was kind of excited about using the engine paint because it adheres to anything. Changed my mind again. It's got 17 layers of paint. They're never going to dry. This is Cub Cadet. Or a tan yellow. But against the car, yep. I thought about painting them black or something like that, but kind of got to go with the traditional look here. It's kind of what I'm going for. This should work just fine for now. Backs are still drying. They'll probably still be drying when I'm in the nursing home. So I just flipped them up like this, and this is a primer filler. So it's a lot thicker. It's going to fill some of these scratches and things like that. And this should dry pretty quick, actually. Going to put a couple coats of this before we put color on the front, and this is going to help give us a smooth finish without spending 75 years sanding. That would be nice. Suppose we should rebuild the brakes. We got a pretty good opportunity right now. Rebuilding, 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 rebuilding. Well, that was easy. I mean, what's it say here? Wheel bearings, races, seals, brake shoes. Resist up to 500 degrees. I think we're good. Well, it's finally time to mount some rubber on these wheels here. And some of you might be thinking, wait a minute, we're not ready. You didn't even paint this yet. Well, there's a reason for that. Get there in a second. First of all, these are the cheapest tires I think ever invented in the world. Do they even have a name? Forcium. Forcium? Forcium? Okay. Well, that's the tire. It's a really small size. 195, 65-15, which is somewhat comparable to what was originally on the car, but obviously we've moved into a newer radial here. Now, reason why I'm not painting this is because when I wrap this tire on, it's going to just rip that paint right off this lip. Unless they're powder coated wheels, you just can't avoid it. Now I can float the duck and not take paint off. I'm calling this the duck. See the shape? It's more so that tire being rolled onto the wheel that's going to strip all that paint. So we're actually going to paint the wheel after the tire is on, and I've got a trick for that. And it's not playing cards or anything like that. It's extremely faster, easier, better results, and probably even cheaper. Obviously, we're going to do white wall out. I don't know if we've ever done any white wall stuff recently anyway. But this is going to look pretty good. I like the profile of that as well. But this is where I'm going to stop. We're not going to air them up. We're going to leave the beads off because that's going to be to our advantage here in just a minute. I'm going to get the others mounted, get a tarp laid down on the ground, and then we'll get some paint put on these, and they'll be drying while I'm at my boys' football banquet. All right, got all the tires laid out here. Time to mask these off. Now, like I say, if you want to do the playing card trick, it works. License plates work, all of that. But last time I checked, a deck of playing cards is $7, and one trash bag is probably what, 30 cents, something like that. That's all I've got here is just a trash bag. Gonna open it up. Just get the full width. You don't have to like act like you're putting it in a can or anything. There we go. Lay it over the tire. Find approximately center where the hub would go. Grab it, bring it up. Halloween goes. Ooh, or whatever. You know what I'm saying. Okay. Now, This varies on wheel. Might take you one or two tries to get it dialed in, but usually I go from like hub side to end of wheel, and I'm just gonna cut it like we're making snowflakes. Now I got a circle. Are you paying attention? I got a circle now. So then all I got to do is just tuck this in around the wheel. That easy. I have a fully massed tire. All the rubber is fully protected. And the huge benefit is, being that I don't have this beaded, is I can get paint around this lip, around the edge. Playing cards stick like this. And the lip of the wheel never gets paint. There we go. Now I just need to repeat this a couple times, and we'll be laying paint. Yep. All of them masked off. Gonna wipe them down. I mean, obviously, they're not perfect, right? We're just changing the color, but I'm gonna wipe them down with some wax and grease remover. I got some and we'll start spritzing. I'll probably do 2 light coats. And then when I get back from the banquet tonight, I can soak them down heavy, and then they can sit overnight and dry. This yellow overspray should look pretty good on Vanishing Paint over here. Yeah, spritzing up some paint. You guys like cheesy green beans? There's something about them that they go good with meat and taters. I'll tell you that much. Light coat applications. We can go work on the hubcaps while this first coat's seating. Gotta let them seat. Kind of a butterscotch. Butterscotch pudding. Does sound really good right now. There we go. Drink up, little buddies. So we've got some poverty caps here, and these are in terrible shape. They've been around, someone's already painted them. They're not coming back. I'm gonna clean these up with some Quad Zero steel wool in the sink, and then I'm gonna hit them with some 800 grit sandpaper, and then we're gonna ship these to California, and we're gonna have them chrome dipped and re-chromed. By that I mean we're gonna paint them actually. Guy sanded them over there. Now that's contaminated, so I moved it over here to the clean paint booth, and you're gonna see that one of these is not like the other. I think it's this one. No, it's this one. This was on the spare in the trunk. I was missing one. This will make 4. I don't know if it's a different year. No, same year, different model, maybe. But this got the same brushed on, like metallic paint treatment that these got as well. Someone just slathered on some paint back in the day, probably when the wheels got its first spray bomb. So we're just gonna jump on top of this bandwagon and just spray them down again and try to make them look a little bit better. And I know some of you are cringing right now saying, how could you just spray paint these? But you know what? If only you ever get one takeaway from me, don't worry about what other people think about your projects, all right? If someone walks up and says, Derek, did you spray paint the hubcaps? Yeah, and I put 4 runs in it on purpose. I mean, what does it matter? You know, plus, do you know where to find NOS hubcaps for less than $4.99? Didn't think so. Actually, in general, don't worry about what other people think with your life. Just you do you. So anyway, I'm gonna get out some paint, spritz these up, and they're gonna look brand new in a jiffy. My dad used to do this on his bumper on the 56 Buick, the black and white one. The whole back bumper is rattle can chrome. Quick little story here. I know you're in a hurry, but we got a little bit of time, okay? So my dad's 56 Buick, the black and white one we got from Texas and tried to drive it back. My dad restored that car when I was just a young kid. I don't know. Call it 8 years old, maybe less. And I remember hand washing it with him all through the years, you know, getting older. And we'd go to car shows and parades and the 4th of July parade and the Centennial parades and all this. And the last thing he'd do is root around in the trunk or the glove box or wherever he kept it, probably under the bench with the scrap metal, and he'd pull out a can like this, and he'd get down there and touch up that back bumper. You know, no one could know. Well, of course everybody knew, but we're talking the 80s. You couldn't, I don't even think rechroming was a thing back then. That's the old days where you just had the junkyard crawl or buy cars for parts and things like that, and we could never find a back bumper, and that bumper, in fact, it's still on the car today and still spritzed down. So a little bit of a throwback here. I'm gonna try this out, see what it looks like. Okay. Oh, it is shiny. We'll give it that. Look at that glisten, just showing all them dents. What about over here? Hey, that doesn't look that bad. Wow. Now we might be on to something here, fellers. Okay. All right. I mean, oh, let me finish up these other ones. I mean, this just proves once again, we need to listen to our elders. That doesn't look half bad, especially if we're doing a 50-footer. Brand new. I'm gonna let that dry a little bit, put a second coat on it, and I think I might come back and actually hit it with the 2K clear. Otherwise, you got to keep dulling that stuff up. It fades. So you have to redo it because it gets dull. You have to dull it up because it gets dull. We're going to prevent that, circumvent it by potentially putting some 2K clear over top, is what I'm thinking. We're advancing the old school technology. I don't think I've ever showed one of these before, so I thought it'd be worth explaining. This is a 2-part clear in a can. This is a 2K clear. U-Paul is the brand name. But basically you shake it up, the usual, and then there's this, whoa, hot potato. There's this little red doohickey you pull out, and then you notice the bottom of a can, there's another little compartment in here. You stick this on the bottom like that, and now when you press this, it's going to pop it like that. Now that other part is actually mixing together, and this is what makes it actually a clear coat. So we'll shake this up a little bit more, make sure that's fully depressed, and we'll go spritz up our hubcaps over there, let this stuff dry overnight, and then I'm really excited to get all this bolted back in the car, get the car on the ground. I think it's going to look really good. Hopefully no chemical reactions with this chrome. So far, I don't see it fish-eyeing or doing anything crazy. So we're just going to do a light coat, let this tack up, and then we'll come back and really soak it in. Did kind of turn it more of a silverish, I have to admit. But maybe that's good enough. I don't know. Well, guys, gonna let all of this dry. First thing in the morning, we'll clean up the tires, get valve stems in them, air them up, pop them on the car. These should hopefully be good to go. Get it all buttoned up, roll this thing outside, see what this thing looks like. See you in the morning. Time to clean up. No, that can wait. Well, good morning. Just as the sun peeked over the hills here and the frost started melting, the guy wheeled out the wheels outside to bask in the 42-degree sunlight. They were still tacky about 6:30, 7 o'clock this morning. I think they're probably good enough to go ahead and mount. We're just going to have to do the white glove treatment. Nope, don't have any of them. It's going to be what it is. You know what I mean? But nonetheless, let's get valve stems popped in these things, get them on the car, get the poverty caps on. I'm really excited to see what this looks like. Okay, so we'll throw the wheel up here on the fried rice machine. I turn my air compressor off every night. It's a good practice. So the thing doesn't blow a leak and then the motor runs all night, lights on fire and burns the shop down. The problem is I never remember to turn it on. Oh, I drained it. You hear the valve open? You gotta do that too, or they get rusted and then they explode. Guy's gotta do maintenance on his equipment. Okay, now we're gonna take the wasabi pusher. Just like that. And do I have any cheap valve stems? These look a little spicy. Well, whatever. It's getting chrome valve stems. I don't know if this is the right flavor. Maybe I can take the chrome. Oh, I can. Okay. And then, since I'm so organized, my valve stem puller througher device is nowhere to be found. There it is. I knew it would be right there. Yep. Okay. Ooh. These might be, they are. These are special valve stems. Uh-oh. Now we're in trouble. Do I have any dirt track valve stems? That one's not even it. These are the big dogs. Typical valve stem, oversized valve stem. These are the big hosses. These guys right here. They're the .625 rim hole. I think. These guys. These are common for like Bassettes or any of the dirt track cars. It's just a larger circle. Hopefully this fits. But I will have to run to town, unfortunately, because I think I only got 2. These aren't very common. Yep! Ooh, I don't know about that. That was very not firmish. Normally I pull the core out, but I'm too lazy. So we'll see if we can pop it on the bead here without. Come on, meow. Yeah. It's got a little leak somewhere. So we're gonna hit her with the onions. I really don't want to sit here and fight this bead all night. Yeah, all the onions. You want to overinflate them. Get it in the red on the dial back here, where it says danger and there's like a picture of someone losing their face. That's when you know they're seated, and then you want to bang on it a lot. What does that say, 100? Yeah. And then it seats. Oh my goodness, it blew the old rod out. Okay, settle down. We'll bring some out. Oh yeah. We might be able to make this work. I'm gonna take, sorry about the compressor noise. Is that Caprice or Daryl? I got animals all over the place. Gonna take a rag with hot water and it's gonna take this blue stuff right off. You don't have to scrub them with steel wool and stuff, you can, but if you have access to hot water, it'll melt this stuff right off. Lickety splits. So guy just finished the aforehand mentioned hot water wash. Got that blue stuff off. Huh? I can't really, I gotta stand back and look at it. You guys let me know. I'm kind of disappointed in the color, if I'm being honest. But it's still dramatically better than what was on here. That is for sure. Left to tight. Okay. Now, poverty cap. Wow. Oh yeah. That looks really good. Really, really good. Little silverish in the center, but all together, whew, looks sharp. Let me pop these other ones on. Push this out in the daylight. Well, as you can see here, this Studebaker went through an incredible transformation. It ain't perfect, and that's the point. But it's something that someone could be proud of scooting around town. I think it's definitely an official going to town rig. The best part, my favorite part, is other than the cheapest tires on the planet, this was done with just elbow grease, patience, and a little bit of spray paint. You can do this at home. You could do it in your driveway. You could do it in your backyard. Stop making excuses. Get out there and do something. Now, do we go ahead and just send this down the road as is? Or do we keep going? If we keep going, we're gonna have to start throwing some coin at this thing. Fuel tank, pickup thing, brake parts, wheel cylinders, brake lines. We're really gonna get into it. Then what do we do with it? I don't know. You guys bleep bloop it. Let me know if you're enjoying the Studebaker. Maybe we'll keep her around. If you're ready to move on to something else, we got plenty of that too. Thanks guys for watching. Appreciate it so much. We'll see you very soon. I gotta get the fuel jug out. Get this down to the lot.